Hi everyone, it's Kelly here. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. Welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. On this channel we talk books, and today I am on location at my holiday. It is the day before we're about to head home. So I thought I would bring you a holiday haul because I have been secondhand shopping. There are no brand new books. These are all secondhand books that I've picked up at various secondhand places nearby to where I am staying. So I'm on the south coast of New South Wales. We've got ocean behind me through the window. Hopefully it's you can see my face because I've tried to angle it and in such a way that it's going to work, so we'll see. hopefully you will see. All right, I'm going to start with the fiction, and I'm going to start with a book that I have actually already read, which is this one, The Once and Future Witches by Alix E. Harrow. This is a book I finished in 2025 and I read it digitally, so I did not have a physical copy, and this copy was $3, so I decided to pick it up for my shelf. As a shelf trophy, I guess. That is the only one of these books that I have actually already read. Everything else is a... Oh dear, we've lost the light. Help. There we go. It's switching to a backlight portrait mode. Okay, I'm going to have to not go out of frame, I think, to maintain. So anyway, as I was saying, all the rest of the books that I have today are ones that I have not read already, so I'm excited to have them to add to my collection. So we're going to do fiction. Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. This cost me $2.50, bargain I feel. This is considered, I think, a classic, a modern classic of its genre. It was first published in 2002, and I would like to read this. I have a couple of other Sarah Waters on my shelf, but I have never read anything by her, so we'll see if I get along with the writing style, but I believe it's supposed to be quite good, so we shall see. Yeah, excited to have this. I hope you don't mind. I'm not going to go through and read the back of all of the books today. I'm just going to show you what I got. So this is kind of just a casual viewing. This one is one that I picked up called The Man Who Saw Everything by Deborah Levy. I've got another book by Deborah Levy on my shelf that I have not yet read, so I really must get to her. This one was $3, so I thought it was a good deal. And this is all about a man who is hit by a car, and it's 1988 and he's hit by a car on Abbey Road, and he seems to be fine. But I think he's probably not fine. Yeah, so I'm interested. It just sounded really, really interesting to me. So I'm pleased to have that one, and we'll hopefully get to that one very soon. I also picked up Sargasso by Kathy George. This is not, I've never read this before, but I have certainly clocked it before, and I am interested in it. I think this one was only like $1, so it was a good deal as well. And this is about a girl called Hannah who lives with her father at Sargasso, which is an isolated beachside home that her father has designed, and he's an architect. Yeah, and it's sort of like, so she has this idyllic childhood, however, it ends in tragedy. They don't say what the tragedy is, and now she's an adult and she's back to renovate the house, which sounds really interesting. So I'm pleased to have that one too. I'm going to stop saying I'm pleased to have them because I'm pleased to have them all. This one is a copy of My Name is Emilia del Valle by Isabel Allende. I had promised myself I wasn't going to buy any more Isabel Allende books until I've read some more of them because I have so many on my shelves, but this one only came out in 2025. And this is a proof copy. I'm sure I saw that written down somewhere. A Bloomsbury proof. So yeah, I just dropped it there. A Bloomsbury proof. So yeah, I was like, okay, and it was also $1, so I decided to get it. And this is part of, I believe, because the Del Valles are the ones who are in the House of the Spirits, I'm pretty sure. I may be wrong about that. Which is the one Isabel Allende that I have read. So anyway, that's exciting to have also. 2 more fiction. Uh-oh, we've lost the light again. Here we go. So, welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop by Hwang Bo-Reum. This is a book that... we've lost light again, sorry. Pause, okay. I think it's because this is quite dark. Maybe I'll just hold it down here. This is a book that lots of people were talking about in 2025, so I was excited to find a copy of it. When did it come out, actually? Let's have a look. It came out in 2023, but I think it's one that people have been reading over the last couple of years and being excited about. So I found a copy, I was pleased about it, and it is now coming home with me. And the last fiction that I picked up was a Murakami, and it is The City and Its Uncertain Walls. I have, again, he's another author that I have a lot of books on my shelf and I've never read any, so I need to get to Murakami in 2026. We'll see if that happens. All right, that's it for this sort of fiction, although, sorry, some of the rest of this is fiction as well. However, these are classics, so I've categorized them slightly differently. All right, we'll start with this one, which, as you can see, potentially, it cost me $1. This is a copy of Claudine Married by Colette. I would like to continue reading the Claudine series. I read the first one several years ago now. I reread the first one several years ago, and I'm keen to continue the series. So anyway, I really liked this little copy. Actually, I did get another Colette, so I'm going to shuffle that one to the top. I got this one, which is Gigi and the Cat, also a Colette book, and this one I got from The Wandering Mind in Milton, which I know because I've got the bookmark inside, which is a secondhand, and they also now have some new stuff in there as well, which I didn't love, but yeah, because it was mixed in with the secondhand stuff. I didn't like that as a browsing experience. But anyway, I was excited to find this in their classic section. So I've got that now for my collection. And yeah, very, very pleased with that. I picked up a copy of The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. This is one of the Penguin, I would call this like a duck egg blue spine, 20th century classics, a Penguin 20th century classics. And it was $2.50, so that seems like a good deal to me, so I was pleased to get that one. And then I also found this one, which is The Longest Journey by E.M. Forster. I have other books in this edition of E.M. Forster's on my shelf, and I didn't have this one, so I was very happy to find this one. This one I also got from The Wandering Mind in Milton. So it's a little pricier because it's kind of like one of those ones where they source secondhand books and then they mark up the prices, etc. But anyway, I was happy to have that one. I got this one. I would consider to be, I put it in with the classics. Thea Astley is an Australian author who I've read a little bit from. And this was $2. It's called The Multiple Effects of Rainshadow, so I guess it's technically not a classic, but I kind of, because it's, this would have been published probably back in the, oh my gosh, I didn't realise it's actually signed. Wow, that's exciting. When was this originally published? So it was published in 1996, so if anything, if it is a classic, it would be like a modern classic. But here we are, we've got a copy of it now, very exciting. Uh-oh, my pile is falling over. And the last of the classics that I picked up, is a really lovely edition of The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. This one has, it's a film tie-in with the original film, and it's got, the end papers are film stills. But inside is the traditional illustrations. But it's a really nice edition. It's got gold, what would you call that? Gold foil on the edges of the paper. So yeah, I'm really pleased to have this. Let me see who put this edition out, actually. This was put out by Barnes & Noble in 2013. So I presume it's not easy to get these editions anymore, but obviously somebody just donated theirs, so very excited. And that cost me like $3. It was a real good deal. All right, next section is a bit of poetry, and I got a couple of poetry books. This one is called I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, and Other Poems You Half Remember from School by Anna Sampson, and it's got all of these like real kind of famous poems that you probably heard at school or have come across, and it kind of goes through, it's in sections, and then it's just like little poems with a little like explanation at the top of some of them. So yeah, very exciting to have that one. This one I don't know anything about, but it's called Couplets by Maggie Milner. A couplet's a love story, and it's written in a sort of poetic style, so I'm including it as poetry. And I sort of flicked through this at the store, and it seemed, there's a tiny spider on that. It seemed good writing, so I picked it up. I don't know anything about Maggie Milner, so I've never come across her poetry before, but now I've got this, and I will definitely read that at some point. I picked up a Brian Bilston called Alexa, What Is There to Know About Love? Whoop. Yes, it's called Alexa, What Is There to Know About Love? And I've read Brian Bilston poems before and really enjoyed them, so I thought I would grab that. Yeah, they're sort of quite clever. That one cost me $3. And the last of the poetry is this one called Motherlode, Australian Women's Poetry, 1986 to 2008, edited by Jennifer Harrison and Kate Waterhouse. Very, very pleased to have this because it will hopefully introduce me to a bunch of poets, Australian poets that I don't know. Yeah, and there'll definitely be ones in there that I do know, I would imagine. Sarah Holland Batt is one of them that I know, Dorothy Porter, Judith Wright. I'm sure there's plenty more that I know in there as well. So yeah, I'm very pleased to have this because I'm always interested to find new poets, because then when you find a new poet that you like, you can look up their collections and read more. So that's always very exciting. And the last section is, and we've only got 3 books to go. These are non-fiction books. This one is called Searching for Charmian by Suzanne Chick and forward by Gina Chick. This is, I've talked on my channel before about Charmian Clift, who is an Australian author, but she, when she was quite young, had a child who she gave up for adoption, and that child is Suzanne Chick, and then eventually Suzanne wanted to find out who her mother was, or who her parents were, and then so yeah, she started investigating and discovered that her birth mother was an author, and yeah, so this is that journey for her. And Gina Chick is her daughter, so she has written the foreword here as well. So yeah, I'm curious about this one. This is one that I had actually already purchased, and I was just picking it up from Anne's bookshop at Nowra, because I follow them online, and they put books up that are new, and you can pay for them and then pick them up at a later date, which is what I did. So this one I had already paid for. 2 more. I have a memoir from Maggie McKellar called When It Rains. I've already read I think it was her 3rd memoir, the name of which escapes me at the moment, but this is, I believe, is her 1st memoir. So I didn't have this one, and I'm excited to have it now, because I really, really enjoyed the one that I read from her a couple of years ago. So yeah, this one was published back in 2010. So I think this is more about her moving from, I want to say, New South Wales. No, she moves to her family farm in New South Wales after her husband passes away suddenly. So yeah, I'm excited to have this and to read it because her writing is absolutely stunning always. And the last book that I have is Puff Piece by John Safran. I have a digital copy of this, but I found this copy that is in basically brand new condition. And I was very excited to find it because I'm very keen to read this one. John Safran is a writer here in Australia, and this is all about, the subtitle is How Philip Morris Set Vaping Alight and Burned Down the English Language. So he is taken aim at the big cigarette companies. So I'm very interested to read this at some point because John Safran is also very funny and very clever, so I always enjoy his writing when I come across it. And that is it. That is my stack of holiday books that I have picked up while I've been away. So I hope that there's been something interesting in here for you. It was certainly very fun doing the shopping for it. And I will catch you back in Sydney when I head back there for the next video. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye.